Hey there, what is up guys? This is me, Demi Bernice. I am currently recording in my iPhone, which is very weird. I have been resisting recording videos for a while now because of the fact that I do not have any DSLRs with me at the moment. So I gave my DSLR to my fiance and so he can start recording his very own videos and whatnot. And I am currently waiting for my very own DSLR to come. So yeah, and if you're asking what that is a PS4 controller. I was so tired last night that I just put it there and I'm currently recording a video with that. So I don't really care. It's good to have some designs and background. Alrighty, so today we're going to talk about how I manage my finances and a couple of investments that I am doing. So disclaimer, first and foremost, guys, I'm not really an expert in investments. I have just been learning, like literally a week ago, I started investing in this investment company and it's just, like I'm just trying to figure things out for now. I have someone who is mentoring me though, which is my fiance, of course. He has been the one doing this studying and then he's telling me what stocks to invest on, that kind of stuff. Yeah, so there you have it. So let us start first with how I manage my finances. Your salary or your income consists of 100%, okay? That is like 100%. And then that 100% should be divided into 5 different categories. So first is your cost of living, investments, learning, personal or fun expenses, and last but not least is your emergency fund. So if you have listened properly, I have separated the investments and the emergency funds because yes, they are 2 extremely different things. I'm going to explain about it later, right? So let us go first with how much should these 5 buckets be. So first one, 60% is your cost of living or your business expenses. 60%, right? Very clear and simple. Every money that you receive, salary or income, whatever that may be, 60% of that automatically goes to your cost of living, which I'll be explaining further later what that is, okay? Next one is your investments. So 10% of whatever you earn should go to your investments. Going to explain how to go about that later. Next 10% is learning, another 10% for personal and fun expenses, and the last 10% for your emergency funds. So let us go to the part where I'm going to explain each bucket and how you can manage that carefully. First bucket is the 60%, which is the cost of living and business expenses. Everyone that I'm paying for, my video editor, other contractors, my community manager, people who have been helping me to build my very own community, Creighton Rise Academy. If you haven't enrolled yet, please check the link in the description and see if you want to become a freelancer and work less, charge more. Creighton Rise Academy is for you. And pitch. And then also, if you have any other expenses like software or utility, internet bills, water bills, electricity, house rent, all that kind of stuff goes to your 60%. So everything you need to pay for every single month goes to your 60% cost of living expenses. So from the softwares that I've been using, electricity, rent, all that kind of recurring expense goes to the 60% every single month. Next bucket is the 10% for investments. Now with this one, it's a little tricky because I cannot really tell you exactly what to do because I have no idea what I'm doing with my investments right now. I am just definitely guided by my fiance in doing this and I'm just following his instructions basically. But yes, there's a lot more risk when you're investing on something, but I'm not a user anymore of Philippine companies when it comes to investments. So the top 2 very famous ones are First Metro Securities and Call Financial. So those are the top 2 Philippine investment companies that are out there and are incredible, by the way. I have been with First Metro Securities for a bit and I stopped using them. I still have money with them. I just stopped using them or monitoring them because I am not certain or I really lack knowledge in terms of Philippine stocks. And so I transferred to stocks that are international or international stock markets using eToro because I have my fiance to guide me, and at least we could both talk about it. Unlike me focusing on Philippine stock market, wherein I don't really have anyone to talk to, I don't have anyone to consult with. I tried figuring out Philippine stock markets by myself, but didn't really work out. I learn best when I'm mentored, or I'm learning something, or I'm reading a book. And apparently I'm very much inclined into Western knowledge. So that is why I just chose to invest with eToro, which you can also do if you want, right? But if you have people whom you can talk to, whom you can consult with in terms of Philippine stock market, then by all means you can go to First Metro Securities or Call Financial. But in my case, it was more convenient to go to eToro. And so in terms of eToro, if you want to also check it out, we are not sponsored by them in this very video. I hope they would. I wouldn't reject some sponsorships once in a while, sure, right? It would be nice, but no, we are not sponsored. The thing with eToro is when you log into their account, the first thing that you're going to see are the individual stocks, which is like Tesla, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, Netflix, all that kind of stuff. Those are individual stocks. They're riskier. So what is advised is that you go with total stock markets, international, real estate stock markets, diversify your portfolio, not only on the individual stock markets. So I think that, not sure if that's their marketing technique, but seeing it firsthand in your dashboard being individual stock markets, I think that's what they want you to invest on, right? It's kind of like a marketing tactic because the individual stock markets fluctuate a lot because there are companies, right? Like Disney, Netflix, all that kind of stuff. They fluctuate a lot, especially the economy right now while I'm recording this video where the pandemic is happening and the US election is currently happening. Then, there are so many emotional fluctuations in terms of individual stocks. And so what is definitely advised by a lot of people, or at least what my fiance is telling me, is that he advises for everyone to be investing in stock markets like bonds, international stock markets. And one of which that is really, really good is Vanguard. So Vanguard has been recommended by so many people, right? Apart from Vanguard, there's S&P 500, right? That you can also invest to. So those are the top two ones. And if you have no idea what you're doing, just don't do it, okay? And I'm afraid I cannot really dive into it because, again, I'm not an expert in stocks. I'm just trying to follow instructions that is given to me by my fiance. He's the one doing the studying for the two of us. And then we both invest into different stock markets so that if we get married, our portfolio is more diversified. So I have individual stocks that I'm investing to and a couple of bonds here and there that he is not investing. So he has a completely different portfolio than mine. So that's basically what our financial strategy is, right? So there you have it. That is 10% of your income or salary being in investments. 10%, of course, in learning, which would mean your books, your coaching sessions, mentor programs, that kind of stuff. 10% of your income and salary should go to your learning because you need to ensure that you have that very knowledge every single time, right? So if you are not using your learning money, a lot of times, in my case, if I'm not purchasing a course or a program or a book every single month, which I try my very best to, I put that money aside and put that in my emergency fund instead. So the reason for that is because I know that I'm going to just use my emergency fund later on if there's something that's happening. It's right there, So apart from that, another 10% of your money should go to personal and fun expense. So this one, 10%, of course, a lot of my money goes to gadgets because I like really nice gadgets. I like the comfortable part of buying a gadget wherein it's high quality, it's technology, it makes it more fun for me to record on things. It makes the video more, quality produced, that kind of stuff. So that's why I invest a lot. Not really invest, but yeah, I buy a lot of gadgets, as you can see, right? As you might have seen in my Instagram accounts. And I really put a lot of money on it, more than I am on books or more than I am on learning, because I don't know, that's just what I am, I guess. Not because I want to be luxurious, but because, the comfortability that I'm getting learning from these gadgets that I'm using are just incredible. And it's been awesome. The quality of the videos that I'm producing is not because of just my content, but because of the quality of the things that I'm using. So I'm definitely into that. And a lot of my personal expenses also go to my cat. I just got a cat like 5 days ago from a friend or from a student, and I have been spending a lot on her. And just because I want her to be a happy cat and she doesn't like, destroy things, that kind of stuff. So that's why I make sure that she's a happy cat. There, apart from my personal expenses, I would say food mostly. Clothes, I don't really buy a lot of clothes. As you might have seen, I'm like using this same purple thing, white version of this. I'm not really much into clothes. I make sure that I look good, yeah, but a lot of times I just repeat the clothes that I'm wearing. Right? So that's an example of personal and fun expense. Last but not the least, 10% of your income or salary should go to your emergency fund. Emergency fund, of course, is something that you should not touch no matter what. Emergency fund does not mean that, oh, it's emergency, I left my wallet at home, I'm going to use my emergency fund. That's not the emergency that I'm talking about. Emergency, literally calamities, things that you have not expected to happen, like this pandemic, for example. If it weren't for my emergency fund, I don't think that I would be here where I am right now, sitting in my comfortable ass chair, right? So my emergency fund has not been touched since I have started freelancing. So that's how amazing an emergency fund is you never touch it until you really, really need it. So pandemic, that kind of stuff. So knock on wood, we wouldn't have calamities that are, like just really hard to get by and that kind of stuff. But in case that happens, at least you have money in the bank that you can easily deposit and withdraw to every single month. So I'm saying you should put your emergency fund in a separate bank account where it's easy for you to deposit and withdraw it whenever you need it. But that doesn't mean that you're supposed to touch it when you do not even need it or there's no emergency. There's no real emergency. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So a lot of people are asking, should you separate your bank accounts or should you have different bank accounts for these 5 buckets? I would definitely suggest yes. Okay. So what I'm doing is that I have only 2 bank accounts. I have Union Bank and East West, but I have a lot of bank accounts in East West. So with East West, I have like savings account, and I only have 1 card, but I definitely like put them into these separate buckets, right? So each bucket should be its separate account. Doesn't need to be a different bank, but it has to be in a different, account number basically. So that when you are trying to budget every single month, at the end of the month, you schedule at least in the 30th of every month, you are supposed to schedule the transferring of your money to its separate buckets. Okay. So that's how you should be budgeting your money. And there are also specific wallets that you can use at this time. There's CIMB, there's Gcash, and there's Paymaya that you can also use, right? So it's not really hard for you to get a separate account if you really want it. So we also have that very easy wallets now that we can use, and they give us a card. It's very easy at this time around. So of course we resist going to the banks because it's a lot of hassle. The cards is not going to come by until like the next 2 months and that kind of stuff. I get you. I've been there. I have been complaining in Philippine banks for a long time now. I am notorious when it comes to banks because I have been working hard for my money, and so I want to make sure that it's safe and I want to make sure that it's budgeted really well. That is why we have that kind of, I have that kind of attitude when it comes to banks. But anyway, alrighty. So I hope that this video has been helpful for you. If you have questions and clarifications, anything at all, you can comment in the comment section. Share this with a friend if you haven't yet. If you know someone who might be interested in this very topic, please share this video. Like and subscribe if you haven't yet, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.